I used to watch your Breaking Bond segment, etc. You know, there's a lot of mention about the repeat offenders, but I mean, I never hear you talking anything about the rights of the citizens.
Once again, Ed Gonzalez, Harris County Sheriff. Today at 4:01 p.m., the Harris County Sheriff's Office lost one of its own. There's simply no...
Yes, I had head turns, but those head turns is good for me. And I say, hey, how are you? You have a question?
It will give me the chance to open up the conversation.
He's gonna be a cop. Pretty good. I'm not getting him out. Yeah! Come on, give me a hug.
Throughout history, there have been people who have committed some of the most heinous crimes fathomable. For those crimes, they have been convicted and sentenced to death. Welcome to Death Row Executions, where we take a look into the lives of society's worst offenders. And now, your host, Air.
Sandeep Singh Daliwal was born in America in the year 1977. His family practiced Sikhism, and religion was a big part of his life. He wore a turban out in public, and although he and his family faced discrimination at times, he remained proud to be an American and proud to express his identity. Sandeep owned a trucking business, but an unfortunate encounter with the law made him leave his business to join the force and make a difference. One winter day in the year 2008, Sandeep was sitting in a crowd at his place of worship. He witnessed an encounter between a Sikh family and Harris County law enforcement. This family had actually been the ones to call for police in order to report a burglary, but when police arrived and noticed their traditional attire, witnesses noticed that the family was being treated as if they were the criminals and not the callers who reported the crime. This event led the newly elected Harris County Sheriff, Adrian Garcia, to make an apology and to make an oath to make things right with law enforcement and the Sikh community. He made the effort to learn about their culture and visited a Gurdwara, which is the name for the Sikhs' place of worship.
When I was sitting in the congregation like I was sitting today, hearing Sheriff Garcia talking about, I think he was here to make up, give a community a hope.
After these series of events, Sandeep told his father that he wanted to join the sheriff's department. Many of Sandeep's family members thought it was not the best decision, but Sandeep followed his heart and ended up becoming the first Sikh to become a deputy at the Houston area sheriff's department when he joined the force the following year in 2009.
I do have a concern when he's out with the turban, but I pray for God and I hope we educate people about them.
Sandeep had been working for a few years, but without his turbans. It wasn't until 2015 he was granted permission to wear his turban and beard as part of his uniform. This made headline news, and he was a role model to many Sikhs around the world who wanted to pursue a career in law enforcement. One of Sandeep's co-workers was quoted saying, "Sandeep wanted to show that a Sikh person with a turban is a symbol of someone who's there to provide service, to provide help whenever you need it." Sandeep's father, D.R.E. Singh Daliwal, was scared for his son's safety when interacting with people in the community. He pushed for Sandeep to become a sergeant, and Sandeep actually passed the exam to become a sergeant, but he told his father, "I don't want to sit in the office. I don't want to be a sergeant. Maybe next year." Things were going well for Sandeep. He was married and had 3 children. 10 years on the force, Sandeep was a respected deputy in the community. Things would change for him on September 27, 2019.
Believe it or not, I have not had any negative interactions so far. Tomorrow, I don't know.
At around 12:20 p.m., Sandeep was making a routine traffic stop, and he ended up pulling over a man named Robert Solis. Sandeep was unaware of the fact that Robert was a convicted felon and that he had an active parole violation warrant for aggravated assault with a deadly weapon dating all the way back from 2017. Sandeep called dispatch at 12:23 p.m. and 3 minutes later at 12:26 p.m., the dispatcher checked in with him. Sandeep updated his situation and said that everything was fine. In a matter of minutes, Sandeep was fatally shot and Robert was on the run. Major Mike Lee of the Houston County Sheriff's Department arrived at the scene of the crime, and he was able to go through Sandeep's dashcam video footage. Major Mike Lee was able to see that when Sandeep was speaking with Robert, He was on the driver's side, and the driver door was completely opened when he was speaking with Robert. From the looks of the video, the men were having a conversation, and there was nothing aggressive or off about the conversation. Deputy Sandeep ended up shutting the driver door and started walking back to his patrol car. In a matter of seconds, Robert opened the driver door, hopped out, began running towards Sandeep from behind, aiming a gun straight at him, and when he was close enough, he fired. Sandeep never saw it coming. He was rushed to the hospital but succumbed to his gunshot wounds to the head. Robert Solis had a big rap sheet and had been getting into trouble for a long time. Authorities believe that he knew he was going back to jail, and in an attempt to avoid going back to prison, he killed Sandeep. Born in 1972, 47-year-old Robert was on the run. A neighbor who lived a few houses down from where the traffic stop took place witnessed the actual traffic stop, heard the 2 gunshots go off, and saw Robert running from the scene of the crime and then getting into a getaway car, fleeing the scene. She immediately called 911 and ran over to check on Deputy Sandeep. After Major Mike Lee and other officers arrived at the scene of the crime and went through the dash cam video, they took a still image from the video to distribute an image of the suspect they were looking for.
Mr. Solis, please proceed with your opening statement.
It was not long before Robert Solis was found a quarter of a mile away from the scene of the crime at a nearby business. Although arresting officers noticed Robert appeared to be nervous, he was arrested without incident. Police began searching for the murder weapon, and they ended up finding it in the parking lot of the business he was hiding out in. After some more digging into Robert Solis's past, they found out that his arrest record was extensive. Robert became a father in 1998. It is not clear if this was his first child or not, but one day, in order to prevent himself from being captured by police for shooting a man, Robert kept his little one for leverage and protection. SWAT team arrived on the scene and convinced him to release the hostage, which was his own flesh and blood. Harris County court records show that he was released from prison back in 2014, but he had never served his full sentence. He was initially sent to prison in 2002 and was sentenced to 29 years in prison. This means that Robert only served 12 years out of his 29-year sentence. A couple of years after his release from prison in 2014, Robert was busted for drunk driving. Although he violated his parole, the parole board decided to give him a chance and did not make him report back to prison. He paid his $5,000 bond and was set free. In 2017, Robert got into a one-sided altercation with his significant other, Melissa, and because he was charged with aggravated assault and weapon possession, there was a warrant out for his arrest, but he was able to avoid being caught until his arrest for the murder of Sandeep. Robert Solis was indicted on capital murder charges in December of 2019. He fired his court-appointed lawyers and decided to represent himself during trial. While on the witness stand, Robert admitted to killing Deputy Sandeep. He then proceeded to tell the court, "I stand before you an innocent man. I believe I'll be able to show I had no intention of killing this man." He then said that everything was a blur and reiterated that he did not intend to kill Sandeep. The jury did not buy how he did not intend to kill Sandeep when the gunshot wound was directly positioned in the back of his head. At the conclusion of trial, the jury deliberated for about 30 minutes, and they found Robert Solis guilty of capital murder on Monday, October 17, 2022.
Since you found me guilty, careful what you say. You need death penalty.
After Robert's sentencing, Harris County Sheriff Ed Gonzalez was quoted saying, "Sandeep changed our sheriff's office family for the better, and we continue striving to live up to his example of servant leadership. May he rest in peace." Thank you all for watching another episode of Death Row Executions. Let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments below.